Will you commit here and now to bringing down power prices? When will they come down and how?
Well, as I said, we're not walking away from our commitments and plans to bring in more renewable energy, which is the cheapest form of energy. You're seeing that play out, whether it be the ABS figures or the Australian Energy Market Commission figures, which are showing.
With respect, I don't think any household cares about those reports. And look, I haven't read them, but it's the retail price. You promised that $275 would come off people's power bills by the end of this year. That hasn't happened. So let's start from this point now, from where the power prices are at the moment, which is about $1,979, the average household bill. How much is that going to come down by under your plan and when?
Well, Laura, we are not walking away from our plans to introduce more renewable energy into the system. We released modelling from opposition which showed the impact of getting more renewables in by 2025. We're keeping going with those policies. You say you don't care about those reports. I do, because they show the impact of government policies. They actually do show that Australians are benefiting from our policies. That is real, and Australians are, despite what you say, of course. Energy prices have been going up around the world, and we have always recognised people are doing it tough and under pressure. That's why we have acted 2 rounds of energy bill relief. That's why we capped coal and gas prices, as opposed by the Liberal Party, who said they should continue to go up. So we are taking those policies, and we're keeping going with the policy which increases reliability, increases our chances of reducing prices, and reduces emissions.
So you're telling me that people have to pay more to have a reliable system in the short term, and you're saying you're keeping on with your plans.
That, Laura?
Well, I'm trying to interpret what you're saying, because I'm just trying to get, you're walking away from this commitment to bring power prices down. It was $275 in 2021 by now.
Laura, how many times have I said we're not walking away from our commitments in this interview?
No, I know, but I was talking specifically about price. Yeah. So can we talk specifically about price? And we're not walking away from our commitments.
We've been talking about price specifically for the last 5 minutes.
So what is the commitment?
Well, you've outlined. Well, our commitment is to continue with the policies we went to the election with, which is to introduce more renewables, to reduce prices, and to reduce emissions and to increase reliability.
By how much and when?
Well, and the modelling showed, as you've said, $275 by 2025. That's the modelling. We don't walk away from the policies that modelling was based on. Australians will judge us based on what we've done. They will judge us based on what we say we'll continue to do, and they'll compare our plans with the alternative, which is to stop, to pause, and to see prices go up as we wait for nuclear, a form of energy that Australia has never used, to be developed for Australia in circumstances that are completely unrealistic.
So $275 on 2021 level retail bills within 3 months. Is that a commitment?
Well, the modelling is there that we released from opposition. We're not walking away from those policies.
Why is it so hard to say, Minister? Seriously. I mean, I hate playing these games with you. We're talking about cheaper power bills. People can't see it coming down. We're about to go into an election. I
think we're having a good chat.
We always do. We always do, Chris, and I really appreciate it. But this is forefront of people's minds in a cost of living crisis going into an election. You promised $275 off their bills by now in 2021. That hasn't happened, and we can read all the reports, but the only report people are reading is when their bills go in their letterbox, right?
And when they get those energy bills, they're seeing a $75 a quarter rebate from the Albanese government. In some states, they're seeing state rebates.
It's artificial, and they're still paying for it. It's their taxes.
I don't think people who see it coming off their energy bills regard it as artificial. Maybe the Liberal Party who voted against it regards it as artificial, but we don't. And I think, look, when I'm out and about, as I often am in Western Sydney, where I live, and other places around Australia, people understand that, the energy markets around the world have been under huge pressure. You went through energy prices around the world, just a few minutes ago, and you're right. They're very high in every country. But what people want to see is their government doing something about it. Now, we've got short-term plans for rebates, which are helping Australians through this this cost of living crisis, as you put it correctly, and we've got longer term plans, medium and longer term plans, which see the cheapest form of energy come on more and more, supported by storage, supported by transmission, supported by gas peaking to ensure reliability. That's a good thing for Australia, the right policy mix for Australia.
How is it the cheapest form of energy when we're having to pay tens of billions that might even blow out even more for the cost of upgrading transmission? So it might be cheaper soon if batteries evolve, but it's not cheaper right now, is it?
Well, I think I just pointed out, Laura, that transmission has to be built regardless. You know, the Liberal Party says they're going to build a nuclear power plant in Port Augusta. Well, the transmission lines are full from Port Augusta to Adelaide. They're going to have to build new transmission. They're going to have to build new transmission from the Hunter to Sydney if they build a nuclear power plant in the Hunter Valley, because the transmission lines are full. I mean, this fantasy story that somehow you don't need transmission if you build nuclear, that's not the experience in Ontario. It won't be the experience in Australia. Their plans are undercooked, undeveloped and not thought through. They don't survive contact with reality. Yes, we need new transmission. Yes, we do. We're building 5,000 kilometres between now and 2030. Not that they make up figures, the opposition. We're building 5,000 kilometres of transmission by 2030. 1,000 kilometres are already either built or under construction today, and the rest are well advanced in planning. So, yes, that's got to be done. But that has to be done regardless. Angus Taylor used to say the same thing. When he held my job, he talked about the importance of transmission. When he held my job, he introduced regulations, laws of the land, to make transmission building easier. That regulation tells you, he runs through the transmission lines that he said were so essential to Australia's future. They're the same transmission lines that we're building, Laura. This is not, I don't say we invented this. On the contrary, I acknowledge this has been a long time coming, this transmission. The difference is we're getting on with it. We've allocated $20 billion to make it cheaper and faster. That's the difference. Not
cheaper now. Not faster yet, but look,
the transmission build. Transmission build.
I wish we could talk for another hour, but the bells are ringing, and I'm told that you have to go. So, look, you can come back anytime. It's my pleasure to talk to you. I
always enjoy seeing you and talking to you. Good on you.
It's been a while. We'll see you soon.